The storm is louder than the school alarm. Wind claws at the windows of Westview High's history building, and the power flickers so hard the hallway lights pulse, like a dying heartbeat. Cole Jensen should probably care about any of that. He does not. He is too busy trying to look like he is not scared of the supposedly haunted school museum. Come on, Cole, you backing out already? Tucker yells over the roar of the wind from the doorway at the end of the hall. I thought the great Cole Jensen was not afraid of a few dusty trophies. Cole rolls the basketball in his hands and glares back at his ex-teammate. I am not afraid. I am just bored. There is a difference. Behind Tucker, a couple of guys from the basketball team snicker and pull out their phones, eager for drama content. Of course, it was supposed to be a simple dare. Walk into the old school museum after hours on the snowiest Friday of December, grab the silver badge from the display case, take a selfie with it, and walk out like nothing happened. If he did it, the stupid rumor that he was losing his edge would finally shut up. The rumor Tucker helped spread. Tick-tock, Jensen. Tucker calls, grinning. Unless you want everyone to know the big bad team captain is scared of a ghost story. I quit being captain. Cole snaps. Yeah. After you blew the last game. Tucker says. Funny timing, right? The words sting more than the icy air that sneaks under Cole's jacket. He tightens his grip on the basketball, jaw clenched. He did not blow the game. Tucker did, by refusing to pass the ball and bricking 3 shots in a row. But somehow the whispers still followed Cole down every hallway. It is easier to blame the guy who used to win everything. Fine. Cole says. You want the badge? I will bring you the whole stupid case. He shoulders the museum door open. The air inside is colder than the hallway, heavy with dust and old paper. The small museum takes up one long room at the far end of the building, lined with glass cases and faded photographs. Trophies glow dully in the emergency lights. Old team jerseys hang like ghosts. Cole hesitates for half a second, then steps in, letting the door slam behind him. The noise from the hallway dies instantly. It is so quiet in here that his own breathing sounds too loud. He bounces the ball once, just to hear something familiar. The echo jumps off the walls and comes back thinner, warped. Cool. He mutters. Haunted echo. Love that for me. He heads for the main display case in the center of the room, the one everyone talks about. The one with the silver badge inside it. Some urban legend about the founder of the school, and a weird accident that no one properly explains. Cole never paid attention when they told the story in freshman year. He definitely pays attention now. The badge is small and oval, resting on a velvet cushion. Even in the flickering emergency lights, it shines, like it has its own faint glow. An intricate crest is engraved in the middle, a flower wrapped in vines and tiny stars around the edge. Cole plants the basketball between his feet, cracks his knuckles, and tries the case. Locked. He snorts. Of course. He glances back at the door. Through the narrow wired glass window he can see Tucker's blurred shadow and the glow of phone screens. Tucker lifts his hand in a fake little wave, clearly expecting Cole to chicken out and come back with some excuse. No way. Cole looks around and spots a metal display stand near the wall. He snags the rod from it, slides the end into the gap between the glass and the wooden frame of the case, and leans in with his weight. For a second, nothing happens. Then there is a sharp click, a faint crack, and the lock pops. Who is scared now? Cole mutters, smug. He lifts the glass and reaches for the badge. The metal is ice cold under his fingers. The second he touches it, a jolt shoots up his arm, like static multiplied by 100. The hairs on his neck stand up. The room lurches. Okay, what the hell, eh? The emergency lights flare to blinding white. The air feels thick, pressing in on him. The photographs on the walls blur, faces stretching and twisting. His reflection in the glass flashes bright, then splits, then snaps back together wrong. He tries to yank his hand away. He cannot. His fingers are glued to the badge, muscles locked. His heart pounds against his ribs. The basketball rolls away, bumping softly against another case, sounding like it is coming from far, far away. Let go. He grits out, panic finally punching a hole through his bravado. Let go. The badge burns hot. A flood of images slams into the back of his eyes, too fast to catch. A girl in an old-fashioned uniform. A snow-covered courtyard. A boy and girl facing each other with the same badge between them, eyes full of something sharp and desperate. Then darkness crashes over everything. Cole does not even feel himself hit the floor. When he wakes, the world is wrong. His head throbs with a dull, pounding ache. The air still smells like dust and cold metal, but the room seems brighter, softer. There is a weird weight on his chest, like someone stacked textbooks on him while he slept. He groans and pushes himself up on his elbows. His arm looks wrong, thinner, paler. The wrist bones sharper. His hand is smaller, fingers slender and delicate, the nails neat and shiny and definitely not bitten down like his should be. What the? His voice comes out high and soft, with a breathy lilt that does not belong to him at all. He freezes. No way. His heart starts hammering so hard it makes his vision blur. He stumbles to his feet, legs shaky, and the strange new weight on his chest shifts, dragging the neck of his hoodie lower. He clamps an arm across his chest on instinct, heat rushing to his face. Everything feels wrong. His center of gravity, the way his hips move, the swing of his hair brushing the back of his neck. Hair that is too long, too soft. He reaches back with trembling fingers and catches a handful of it. It slides through his hand like silk. Oh my God. He whispers in that unfamiliar voice. Oh my God, no. Panic blasts through him like a gust of icy air. He spins toward the tall mirror mounted on the far wall, the one that usually reflects sunny trophy cases and dusty banners during school hours. Now it reflects a stranger. A girl stands in the mirror. She looks about 17, like him. Long waves of pale gold hair spill over her shoulders. Her eyes are bright and wide and ocean blue, rimmed with lashes too thick to be real. Her skin is pale and clear, the kind of flawless glow people pay money for. She is drowning in a gray Westview basketball hoodie, the hem of it brushing bare thighs. The hoodie hangs off one shoulder, revealing a slim collarbone, and the strap of a sports bra that is definitely not his. Her lips are parted in shock. She looks like she has just been drop-kicked into a body that does not belong to her. Because she has. Cole grips the edge of the mirror, knuckles white. The girl in the glass grips it too, her eyes going even wider. Move. He says. She moves. Say something. He whispers. Her lips move. His words come back to him in that same soft, terrified voice. This is a nightmare. The room tilts. His lungs seize up, like he is running sprints without any air. His own reflection has been replaced by a girl straight out of a teen drama, all big eyes and messy hoodie and bare legs. And she is him. No. His knees buckle. He catches himself on the nearby display case and the movement makes the hoodie ride up, exposing more of his legs. The unfamiliar weight on his chest shifts again, pressing against his forearm. He is not dreaming. The faint glow of the silver badge on the velvet cushion is the only steady thing in the room. What did you do to me? He yells at it. The badge, being an inanimate cursed object and not particularly helpful, says nothing. The museum door creaks. He spins around, heart in his throat. The door opens. A girl stands silhouetted in the doorway, framed by the flickering hallway light. Her dark hair is tied back in a high ponytail, a stack of textbooks hugged to her chest. Even without seeing her face clearly, Cole recognizes the posture, the slightly annoyed tilt of her head. No, anyone but her. The emergency lights blink, and her face comes into view. Ella Mitchell, top of their junior class, debate club star. The girl teachers love to brag about, and other students love to gossip about. His academic rival, his constant headache, his least favorite person to lose to. Also the exact person he has been low-key obsessed with since freshman year. She squints into the dim museum, clearly expecting to see the same old trophies and maybe a stray janitor. Instead she sees him. Or rather, she sees a golden-haired girl, drowning in Cole's hoodie and staring at her like a deer in headlights. Ella stops dead. The silence between them stretches, filled only by the howl of the wind outside and Cole's heartbeat pounding in his ears. Her gaze drops to the letters on his hoodie. Westview Basketball. Jensen. 11. Her eyes narrow. Okay. She says slowly. Who are you, and why are you wearing Cole Jensen's hoodie in a locked building after hours? Her tone is flat, but her eyes are sharp, already cataloging details, like they are a test question. Cole's brain flips through a dozen responses, and lands on one that is not completely insane. Lie. He swallows. His new voice shakes. I am his cousin. He blurts. Cora Jensen. He told me I could wait for him here. Cora. The name pops out of nowhere, like his brain grabbed the nearest thing to Cole, and added a soft ending. Ella's eyebrow arches. His cousin. Yes. From where? From out of town. Smooth, Jensen, he thinks bitterly. Real convincing. Ella steps farther into the museum, letting the door close behind her. The click echoes. Cole's hands are sweating. She studies him. Her gaze catches on his bare legs, on the too big hoodie, on the way he keeps one arm clamped across his chest like he is embarrassed. Her eyes flick to the slightly cracked display case behind him. Then to the silver badge still glowing faintly on the velvet. Then back to him. Right, she says. His cousin, who just happens to be in a weird old museum, in his hoodie, next to the one item the school specifically says no one should touch. Cole forces a shaky laugh. Funny coincidence, right? The words land with a thud. Ella sets her books down on the nearest cabinet and crosses her arms. Try again. His stomach drops. She does not believe him. Of course she does not. She is Ella. She does not just accept things because someone says them. She needs proof, data, logic. Things he absolutely does not have right now. He presses his back against the display case, brain spinning as hard as his heart. Outside, a gust of wind rattles the windows. Somewhere down the hall, Tucker and the others shout and laugh, still fully unaware that their dare has spiraled straight into a supernatural nightmare. Cole is trapped, in a cursed museum, in a stranger's body, under the full interrogation power of the smartest girl at Westview High. And for the first time since he picked up a basketball, he has absolutely no idea how he is going to win this game. Ella does not blink for a long time. Cole feels like he is under a microscope. Every twitch, every inhale, every nervous shuffle of his bare feet on the cold tile feels magnified. If anyone could look straight through a lie with sheer willpower, it would be Ella Mitchell. You know the school security cameras cover this hallway, right? She says finally. His heart jumps to his throat. What? Cameras? She repeats calmly. You got in through the back door by the gym, which means the night guard already knows someone is in here. I saw him on my way in. He is calling the principal. So, 4 adults arrive and ask me why there is a random girl in Cole's hoodie in a locked museum. How about we figure out what actually happened? Her voice is even, but there is an edge to it, something like concern buried very deep under annoyance. Cole swallows. Could he tell her the truth? Hey, Ella, surprise, I am actually Cole, the guy who throws shade at you in chemistry, and I just accidentally used an ancient cursed badge to switch into this body, and now I am freaking out, please help. Yeah, that sounds sane. His fingers curl tighter into the hem of the hoodie. Nothing happened. He insists weakly. I just fell asleep waiting, that is all. Ella tilts her head, studying him. What is Cole's middle name? The question slams into him like a rogue basketball. What? If you are really his cousin, you would know his full name. She says. Middle name. Go. Cole's brain short circuits. Middle name. His own middle name. Which he knows, obviously. Except right now his head is full of static and panic, and it takes an embarrassingly long 2 seconds to drag the word up. Cole, Matthew Jensen. He says, forcing a smirk. Happy? Ella's eyes widen just for a moment. It is quick, but he sees it. A tiny flicker of surprise cracking her ice-cool expression. She did not think he would know that, because barely anyone at school does. He hates his middle name. His parents only use it when he is in serious trouble. Ella folds her arms tighter. Lucky guess. You do not believe in luck. He shoots back before he can stop himself. You believe in data and extra credit and making the rest of us look stupid. The words are automatic, worn in from 100 small arguments, and the second they are out of his mouth, his stomach drops. Ella's eyes narrow again. Her voice drops lower. Have we met before? Cole's pulse stutters. Brilliant. He is going to blow his cover in under 5 minutes, because he cannot stop being a smart mouth even when he is in crisis. He drags in a breath. Look. He says, softer, trying to scrape some charm together. Cole told me a lot about his school, so maybe I know a few things. Does that really matter right now? Ella studies him for another long beat. Then she sighs, the sound heavy and frustrated. She leans back against the glass case opposite him and tips her head toward the ceiling for a moment, like she is asking the universe why it keeps giving her advanced level nonsense instead of normal teenage problems. Fine. She says. Cole blinks. Fine. She looks at him again, eyes cooler now, more calculating than suspicious. We do not have time for 20 questions. Security is coming. If you get dragged out of here like this, it will be all over school by Monday. If you are actually Cole's cousin, that is going to be miserable. If you are not a. She lets the sentence trail off. Either way, it is bad. Ella pushes off the glass. Come on. She grabs her books and strides past him, heading for the door. Wait. Cole stammers. Where are we going? Somewhere that is not here. She says, not looking back. And somewhere the cameras do not cover. Move, Cora. The fake name on her lips sounds weirdly real. Cole hesitates, then scrambles after her, nearly tripping over the abandoned basketball. His balance is still off, every step a reminder that his legs are shorter, his hips different, the way his feet hit the ground unfamiliar. He feels like a baby deer learning to walk. They slip out into the hallway. The overhead lights flicker, fighting the storm's power tantrum. Down the corridor, near the main entrance, a security guard's flashlight sweeps across lockers. Ella curses under her breath. This way. She moves fast, cutting corners like she has the school's floor plan memorized. She probably does. Cole nearly runs into her when she suddenly stops near the science wing stairwell. Hold still, she says. Before he can ask why, she shrugs out of her thick navy cardigan and shoves it at him. Put this on, and pull the hood up. Your legs are going to attract attention. Cole stares at her. My legs, they are bare. She hisses, cheeks flushing. And we are in a school, not a music video. Just put it on. Heat rises to his own face. Right. He shrugs into the cardigan, the fabric soft and still warm from her body. The scent of her shampoo clings to it, something clean and a little floral. His heart skips weirdly. Not the time, Jensen. Hood up, sleeves tugged down, he follows her down the stairs and out a side door into the freezing night. Snow hits his face like sharp confetti. The parking lot is a blur of white and dark stripes. His sneakers crunch on the icy ground. Ella leads him across the lot to the street. Where are we going? He asks again, shivering. My place, she says. It is a 10-minute walk if we do not slip and die. Which, for the record, I really hope we do not, because I still have a calculus exam next week. He almost laughs, the sound startled and shaky. You are seriously kidnapping a stranger from the school museum in a snowstorm. I am rescuing a disaster in my honor student schedule. She corrects dryly. If word gets out that I knew someone was in there, and did nothing, I will be stuck in meetings for days. I do not have time for that. So this is about your schedule. This is about efficiency. He glances at her sidelong. Her ponytail is dusted with snow. Her cheeks are pink from the cold. She keeps adjusting her glasses with the back of her hand so her fingers do not freeze. She looks like a girl walking home from a late study session, not like someone smuggling a magically transformed classmate through a blizzard. Why did you even go to the museum? He asks. It was locked. Student council inventory, she says. I am supposed to double-check all the old displays before winter break. The principal gave me the spare key. Of course he did. Of course the school trusts Ella with keys and responsibility and things that do not randomly explode. Cole hugs the cardigan tighter around himself. The hoodie swallows him, the hem flapping around his thighs as the wind whips past. Every few steps he has to grab the edge so it does not flash more skin than he can handle. He has never been this aware of his own body before. Or, well, someone else's body that is currently his. Do you always help random people during storms? He asks, partly to distract himself. Only the ones wearing stolen jerseys, she says. And only when their stupid decisions might blow back on my record. He snorts. Glad I fit the criteria. She says nothing, but there is the tiniest hint of a smile tugging at the corner of her mouth. They reach a quiet residential street lined with snow-buried cars and small houses. Ella leads him up to a neat 2-story place with a blue front door and a porch light that flickers when she hits the switch. Inside, the warmth hits him like a wave. Shoes, she says automatically, kicking hers off by the door. He fumbles with his laces, feeling clumsy and off balance, then follows her into a living room full of bookshelves and framed family photos. A Christmas tree glows in the corner, lights twinkling, ornaments catching the soft yellow of the lamp. It feels homey. Safe. Wrong, his brain reminds him. He should not be here. Ella drops her books on the coffee table and turns to face him fully, for the first time, without the storm or dim museum lights in the way. Under the bright living room lamp, her expression is even sharper. She looks him up and down, and he has the strange feeling she is not checking him out, but scanning him like a math problem. Okay, she says. Truth time. Cole's throat is dry. About what? She gives him a look. About why you look like that, why you were locked in the museum, and why the glass case in front of the founder's badge was cracked. He glances down at himself again. At the 2 long sleeves, the too big hoodie, the borrowed cardigan. At the way his hands look wrong. At the faint tremor he cannot shake. If he keeps lying, she will catch him. She always catches weak logic in class. It is infuriating, impressive, and exactly what makes her terrifying right now. He takes a breath. Promise you will not freak out? She stares. That is not how freaking out works. Right. He mutters. Okay, just to hear me out, and then decide if I am insane. He reaches up and tugs the hood back. His hair spills out, golden waves catching the light. The movement makes his chest shift again, and he fights the urge to cross his arms over it. My name is Cole Jensen, he says quietly. I am not his cousin, I am him. Ella does not laugh. She does not gasp, or scream, or call the police. She just blinks once, slowly. You realize that sounds ridiculous. I know. He says quickly. But I touched the badge. The silver one in the museum. There was this light, and this a shock, and then I blacked out. When I woke up, I looked like this. She folds her arms, but there is a flicker of something in her eyes now. Curiosity. You are saying the badge transformed you? Yes. Into a girl. Yes. And you decided to lie about it instead of asking for help. I decided not to sound insane in front of the one person who would absolutely tell the principal. He shoots back. Her mouth tightens. I do not tattle. You do when a rule is broken. That is because rules exist for a reason. She snaps. Like not breaking into school museums during blizzards. He says. We can make a long list if you want. They glare at each other over the coffee table. For a second, it feels almost normal, like every time they have argued in class. Only this time he is wrapped in her cardigan, and trying not to trip over hair that is not his. Ella is the first to look away. She pinches the bridge of her nose, voice softer when she speaks again. Say, for a moment, that I believe you. His chest loosens a fraction. Okay. I said for a moment. She reminds him. If this is true, why you? Why would a random piece of school memorabilia decide to transform Cole Jensen of all people? I do not know. He admits. But there was a something when I touched it. Like a flash of someone else. A girl in an old uniform. And a boy. And they were holding the same badge. Ella's eyes sharpen. Describe the uniform. Blazer, long skirt, weird old school logo. He says. Like the pictures in the museum. They looked desperate. I do not know. It happened too fast. She goes quiet. Cole watches her pull a mental file from one of the cabinets inside her brain. He has seen that look on her face before, right before she destroys someone in debate club. There is a story in the yearbooks, she says slowly, about the founder's daughter. She wanted to play basketball when girls were not allowed on the team. The badge was part of some protest. Students passed it around like a symbol. There were rumors something strange happened to the last pair who used it. The records are vague. And no one thought that was important to mention before leaving it in a glass box where any idiot could touch it? You just called yourself an idiot. She notes. Focus, Ella. She exhales. Okay, let us pretend the urban legend is real. If the badge did this, we need to figure out how to reverse it before anyone notices you are gone. And if we cannot? The question hangs between them, heavy. Ella's eyes flick over his face, his hair, the way he is hugging his arms around his torso like armor. Then we figure out how to keep you safe like this, she says quietly. And maybe how to live without blowing your cover. The words hit him harder than any insult she has ever thrown at him. You would help me, he says slowly. Even if I am stuck like this. She looks away first this time, cheeks pink. I am not heartless, Cole. Also, I would never hear the end of it if Westview's star player vanished, and I was the last one to see him alive. Imagine the gossip. He huffs out a shaky laugh. Relief loosening his shoulders a little. Wow, your empathy is overwhelming. Do not get used to it, she says, but the edge in her voice has softened. She grabs a notebook from the coffee table, flips it open, and starts scribbling. We need a plan. First problem, you cannot go home like this. Your parents will freak out, and questions will be asked. Understatement of the year. He mutters. Second, everyone at school already knows Cole Jensen. If you vanish and a random girl shows up at the same time, people will connect dots. Badly. So we separate them. He says slowly, following her logic. Make it look like Cora and Cole are two different people. Exactly, she says. Cole is visiting relatives out of state for a while. Cora is a transfer student staying with me. He stares at her. You want me to live here? She shrugs. My dad is on a work trip until after New Year's. My mom is staying with my grandma. They will not be back until the snow clears. It is just me in this house and a lot of leftover Thanksgiving lasagna in the freezer. There is space. You are inviting your worst academic rival to move in with you, he points out. In secret, while he is stuck as a girl. I am inviting a walking disaster, who just found out magic is real, and who clearly cannot be trusted to survive alone. She corrects. We are not sharing toothbrushes. We are making a temporary truce. He cannot help it. A crooked smile slips out. So is this like a contract? Her lips twitch. You want to make it official? Why not? He says, leaning forward. Rule 1. You help me figure out the badge, and how to switch me back. Rule 2. She says, tapping her pen against the page. You do not tell anyone about the badge. Rule 3. I am not wearing skirts every day. You are absolutely wearing skirts at least sometimes. She counters immediately. If you stomp around like a linebacker in jeans and oversized hoodies, people will ask questions. You need to blend in. He groans. I hate this already. We can compromise on leggings. She offers. He narrows his eyes. Fine, but no makeup. We will see. She says innocently. He glares. She keeps writing. By the time they finish arguing, contract takes up an entire page of her notebook, filled with rules and bullet points, and a couple of doodled angry faces she will never admit are supposed to be him. It is ridiculous. It is also the only thing keeping him from spiraling. Ella tears the page out and slides it across the table. Sign it. He stares at the messy list of rules, at her neat signature already at the bottom. The idea of signing something that will keep him in this body, even temporarily, makes his stomach flip. But the idea of trying to do this alone is worse. He picks up the pen with fingers that still do not feel like his and scrawls his name. Cole Jensen. The letters look the same as always. His hand does not. Ella nods once, as if that settles it. Welcome to mission not dying of magical stupidity. Catchy. He says. You should put that on a college application. She snorts softly. Then, to his surprise, she stands and holds out her hand. Truce. He glances up at her, at the girl he has traded sarcastic comments and extra credit battles with for 2.5 years. At the girl who just watched him sign a contract to move into her house as a fake cousin, while they figure out how to undo accidental gender-bending magic. He takes her hand. Her grip is warm and firm, fingers wrapping around his smaller ones with a steady pressure that grounds him. Truce. He says. For the first time since he woke up on the museum floor, the fear in his chest loosens just enough for something else to slip in. Relief. And, annoyingly, the tiniest spark of excitement. The next morning, Cole wakes up to the smell of coffee and the horrifying realization that he is still a girl. He stares at the ceiling of Ella's guest bedroom, trying very hard not to think about the weight on his chest or the unfamiliar softness of his hair splayed over the pillow. Maybe it was a dream. He looks down. It was not a dream. Fantastic. He mutters. He rolls out of bed, nearly trips on the too long hem of the borrowed sleep shirt, and manages to catch himself on the dresser with a graceless flail. The mirror above it throws his reflection back at him. Cora Jensen blinks blearily. Her hair is a golden mess. Her eyes are puffy from too little sleep. She looks both exhausted and unfairly cute, which is rude, because Cole does not feel cute. He feels like he is stuck in the wrong avatar. A soft knock comes at the door. You awake? Ella's voice. Cole yanks his hair into a messy ponytail with the elastic he found on the nightstand. Yeah. He calls, voice cracking a little. Come in. The door opens. Ella steps inside with a mug of coffee and a cautious expression, like she is not entirely sure what version of him she is going to get. Morning, she says. Define morning. He grumbles. My brain does not work before 10. It is almost 9, she says. And we have a lot to do. She hands him the mug. Their fingers brush for a fraction of a second. His heart does that annoying skip thing again. He blames the coffee. Your emergency survival training starts now, she adds. He narrows his eyes over the rim. That sounds dramatic. You are dramatic, she says. Sit, drink. We need to talk about clothes. A shiver of dread runs down his spine. Do we have to? You want to walk into school on Monday looking like you got lost on your way to a costume party? She asks. Because right now, you move like you are still 6 feet tall and stuck in a boy's body. I am. He points out. Not on the outside, she says. And that is the only part people can see. She pulls a laundry basket from the corner of the room with a sigh. I grabbed some of my old stuff from middle school, and a few things that do not scream straight A robot. We will test what fits. He eyes the basket like it is full of snakes. Do I get a say in any of this? Yes, she says. You get veto power twice a day. Choose wisely. He groans into his coffee. An hour later, Cole has a whole new respect for every girl who has ever had to get ready for school in under 15 minutes. And a deep personal hatred for skinny jeans. This is cruel and unusual punishment. He complains, trying not to fall over while he wrestles with the zipper. Who invented this? Probably a man. Ella mutters, then catches herself. Sorry, you know what I mean. He gives her a flat look. Do I? She bites back a smile. You are the one who decided to poke cursed objects, Cole. He opens his mouth to argue and then stops. She is right. Again. The jeans finally cooperate. He stands in front of the mirror, in a soft blue sweater, dark skinny jeans that actually fit, and Ella's white sneakers. His hair is in a neater ponytail, and Ella has somehow convinced his eyebrows to look less like they lost a fight with a lawnmower. He looks like a normal girl. That is the problem. He does not feel normal. This is weird. He says. It is supposed to be weird. She says. Your brain is used to a different map of your body. It will catch up. Says the girl who never miscalculates anything. He mutters. She rests her hand on her hips. I miscalculate plenty. I just do not usually do it while standing in front of a cursed museum exhibit. He snorts, despite himself. She moves closer, adjusting the fall of his sweater, fussing with the collar like she cannot help fixing things. Her fingers brush his collarbone. His breath catches. She freezes too, like she felt the same little electric jolt of awareness. Sorry, she says quickly, stepping back. Professional stylist mode. Force of habit. It is fine. He mumbles, ears burning. This is ridiculous. He is Cole. He does not blush. He trash talks on the court and laughs when he misses free throws and never backs down from a dare. But all it takes is Ella standing close enough that he can see the tiny freckles on her nose and his brain goes static. Okay, she says briskly, clearly choosing to ignore the weirdness. Step 1 of sweet girl survival training is done. You look like a believable Cora. What is step 2? He asks warily. She picks up a notebook from the desk. Behavior. How to move, how to talk, and how not to blow your cover in the first 5 minutes of any conversation. He flops back on the bed. Kill me now. She rolls her eyes. Get up, Jensen. He glares at the ceiling for a second, then sits back up. Fine. Teach me your ways, O wise academic overlord. Rule 1. She says, ignoring the sarcasm. Stop manspreading. He blinks. Stop what? You sit like you are still 6 feet tall. She says. Your knees are everywhere. It is a dead giveaway. Keep your legs closer together, or cross them. He scowls, but when he looks down, he realizes she is right. He has one leg flung off the side of the bed like he is about to slide into a base. He pulls his knees together, feeling self-conscious. Better, she says. Rule 2, volume. You talk like you are shouting across a basketball court. Lower it a notch. I do not shout. He protests. She gives him a look. Fine, I shout a little. A lot. She corrects. And rule 3, emotional filter. You cannot punch people who annoy you anymore. Anymore? He echoes. Like I was doing that before. You almost punched Tucker last week. She reminds him. During practice. In front of the whole team. He deserved it. Cole says darkly. I am not saying he did not. She says. I am saying Cora cannot go around decking people. You need new strategies. Like what? He asks. Passive-aggressive sticky notes. Her mouth twitches. You would be terrifying with sticky notes. He grins, the image surprisingly satisfying. I would color code my rage. They both laugh. The sound feels easy. Too easy. He glances at her, heart doing that stupid skip again. Why are you helping me this much? He asks suddenly. She blinks. I told you. I do not want a scandal on my watch. That is not all. He says. He watches her carefully. Ella hesitates, then sits on the edge of the desk, looking at her hands for a moment before meeting his eyes. Fine. She says quietly. It is not all. She twists the pen between her fingers. I know what it feels like to be stuck in a version of yourself you did not choose. He frowns. What do you mean? She shrugs, but the movement is tight. Ever since middle school, people decided I was the smart girl, the perfect one, the one who always has the answer, who never messes up, who tutors everyone else. At first it was flattering. Then it was exhausting. Now it is the trap. He watches her, the words sinking in deeper than he expects. I cannot show up tired. She says. I cannot get a bad grade. I cannot admit I do not understand something on the first try. Because if I do, people act like the world is ending. My parents panic. Teachers pull me aside. Friends freak out, so I just keep playing the part. She looks down at her hands. I know it is not the same. You are literally in the wrong body. But the feeling of not recognizing the version of yourself everyone else sees, that is familiar. Cole swallows, throat unexpectedly tight. He has never thought about Ella like that. To him, she has always been the girl who raises her hand before the teacher even finishes the question, the one who makes extra credit assignments look like candy. The girl who seems to have everything under control. He never wondered what that felt like from the inside. I did not know. He says quietly. You were busy winning basketball games. She says, a hint of amusement in her voice. Different arenas. Same pressure. He lets out a breath. The room feels smaller somehow, the distance between them shrinking. Okay, he says. I get it. I am sorry I called you a robot all those times. She smiles faintly. You only meant it half as an insult. Quarter. He corrects. Generous. I am a generous guy. He says. You are not a guy right now. She points out. He groans. Do not remind me. She laughs, the sound light and surprised, like she did not expect to find anything funny in this situation. Come on. She says, sliding off the desk. We still have homework. He stares. Homework. We need a fake transfer file for Cora. She explains. A story, a schedule, a reason to be living with me. If we do this right, you can go back to school on Monday, without anyone guessing who you really are. And you think people will just accept that I am your new roommate? He says. No questions asked. Oh, there will be questions. She says. But I am good at answers. They spend the rest of the morning building Cora Jensen from the ground up. Ella types fast, fingers flying over her laptop keyboard, as she tweaks a fake email from a school counselor. In another state, Cole paces behind her, reading over her shoulder, occasionally making unhelpful comments. So I am from Oregon now. He says. Cool. Do I get a tragic backstory? No tragedies. She says firmly. We do not want teachers worrying about you. You are here because your parents are traveling for work and thought it would be a good idea for you to experience a new school district for a semester. That is the worst backstory I have ever heard. He says. It is boring. She says. Boring is believable. Drama raises questions. He makes a face but cannot argue. The more normal they make Cora, the more invisible she can be. And you are my cousin. She adds. Technically, parents are siblings. Whatever. We can figure out the family tree later if someone asks. They will. He says. I will make a chart. She says dryly. He grins. At some point, Leah texts her. He can see the preview flash across the top of her screen. How is your nerdy Friday night? Stuck in museum inventory hell? Ella sighs and types back quickly. You have no idea. Leah's next text appears almost immediately. Tell me everything tomorrow. Coffee after practice? Ella smiles faintly. That reminds me. She says. We need to talk about Leah. What about her? He asks. She is my best friend. Ella says. And she is the kind of person who collects secrets like trading cards. If we want this to work, we cannot lie to her badly. She will know something is off. You want to tell her the truth. He says slowly. I want to tell her a controlled version of the truth. She says. She will be your biggest asset once she gets used to the idea that her favorite enemies to lovers ship is now partially canon. He groans. She ships us. She has since freshman year. Ella says. He sputters. Why? Because we argue like a married couple and accidentally coordinate outfits. She says. We do not coordinate outfits. He protests. She glances pointedly at his gray hoodie and jeans in her mental memory, then at her own gray sweaters and sneakers. He deflates. Oh my God. She laughs again, softer this time. By the time they finish, the snow outside has turned into a steady white curtain. The world beyond the window is all soft edges and muffled sounds. Inside, the living room is a mess of notebooks, printouts, and abandoned coffee mugs. Okay, Ella says, closing her laptop with a satisfied click. Cora Jensen is officially a transfer student from Oregon. She loves books, hates the cold, and is allergic to cats. I am allergic to cats now. He asks. My aunt is allergic to cats. She says. I reused her medical excuse. It is efficient. He shakes his head, bemused. You are terrifying. He says. You say that like it is news. She replies. He is quiet for a moment, watching her stack papers neatly, smoothing corners that are not really wrinkled. Ella. He says. She looks up. Yeah, thanks. he says simply. For the first time, she looks flustered. You are welcome, she says. Do not make me regret it. That night, lying in the guest bed with his hair spread out on the pillow, and the sound of the wind pushing against the windows, Cole realizes something that scares him almost as much as the transformation. He is starting to feel less like he is trapped in a stranger's body, and more like that body is his for now. He curls on his side, pulls the blanket up to his chin, and stares at the faint glow of the streetlight through the curtains. Tomorrow, he is going back to school as Cora, with Ella at his side. The thought is terrifying, and, against every instinct he has, a little bit thrilling. Monday arrives whether he is ready or not. Spoiler alert, he is not. Ella wakes him up at 7 with a knock on the door and a merciless, "We are going to be late." He drags himself out of bed, fights with his hair, loses, and finally lets Ella braid it into something that does not look like he was attacked by a hairbrush. She throws him a soft gray sweater dress and a pair of black leggings. "I thought we said no skirts." He protests when he sees the dress. "That is not a skirt." She counters. "It is a long sweater." Technicality. "You are evil." He mutters. "You are dramatic." She says, as usual. They walk to school side by side, breath clouding in the cold air. The world is still half buried in snow, the sky a pale gray that makes everything look like a postcard. Cole's nerves are a mess. Every car that passes feels like it is slowing down to stare. Every crunch of snow under his boots feels too loud. "Relax," Ella says quietly as they get closer to Westview's front steps. "You look fine." He glances at her. She is in black jeans, a dark green sweater, her usual ponytail. She looks perfectly normal, which is deeply unfair. "You are sure no one is going to recognize me?" he asks. "Your own mom might not recognize you," she says. "That is how different you look." That is not reassuring. "It should be," she says. "Remember, Cora from Oregon, staying with me, hates cats, mildly allergic to boys." He chokes. "I am what?" She smirks. "Kidding, mostly." Inside, the halls are their usual morning chaos. Lockers slamming, shouts. The smell of coffee and too much perfume. Cole's chest tightens. He has walked these halls 1,000 times. Never like this. Heads turn as they come in together. Not because of him, he tells himself. Because Ella Mitchell rarely walks in with anyone. She usually glides through the chaos alone, a small calm island of color-coded notebooks and straight A's. "Ella." Someone calls, surprise in their voice. "Who is your friend?" "Transfer student," she says easily, not stopping. "This is my cousin, Cora. She is staying with us for a while." "Hi," Cole says, forcing a small wave. His voice sounds foreign to his own ears, but no one flinches. No one squints and says, "Wait, is that Cole?" They just smile, nod, move on. He exhales slowly. One step at a time. They make it to their lockers without being mobbed. He does not even trip in front of anyone. He counts that as a win. Then he hears the one voice he absolutely did not want to hear this early. "Mitchell." "Tucker." Cole's shoulders lock up. He turns, trying to keep his expression neutral. Tucker strides down the hall with his usual swagger, basketball tucked under one arm. His Letterman jacket is unzipped, showing off the team hoodie underneath. A couple of guys trail behind him like satellites. He looks at Ella first, then at Cole. Cole watches the moment confusion hits him. "Who is this?" Tucker asks bluntly. "Cora," Ella says before Cole can open his mouth. "My cousin. She is transferring in from Oregon for the semester." Tucker's gaze rakes over Cole, not in a gross way, but in a confused one, like his brain is trying to slot this new person into his mental map. Something sour twists in Cole's stomach. He has seen Tucker use that same assessing look on new teammates, on opponents, on people he might be able to manipulate. "From Oregon, huh?" Tucker says slowly. "You play ball there?" Cole forces a light laugh. "I watch it," he says. "Does that count?" Tucker snorts. "Maybe you can teach Mitchell here how not to hate sports." Ella rolls her eyes. "I do not hate sports. I hate lazy group projects disguised as sports." One of the boys behind Tucker mutters. "Nerd alert." Under his breath, Cole's fists clench at his sides. Old instincts flare. The urge to step between Ella and any jerk comments, to defend her, to throw something cutting back. But Cora is supposed to be new. He swallows it down. Tucker shifts his weight, glancing around as if expecting someone else to materialize. "So where is Jensen, anyway?" Ella shrugs. "Family emergency. He left town for a while." The lie slides off her tongue too smoothly. She must have practiced it. Tucker's jaw tightens. Without telling the team. Maybe he did not feel like dealing with your drama on top of everything else. She says calmly. A couple of students nearby make quiet noises. Cole bites the inside of his cheek to keep from smirking. Tucker glares. Whatever, we do not need him. He looks back at Cole, and his tone shifts, just slightly. Welcome to Westview, Cora. If you ever want a tour that does not involve history lectures, let me know. Cole's skin crawls. He forces a polite smile and hopes it does not look like a grimace. I will keep that in mind. Ella's hand brushes his wrist, just for a second. It feels like a warning and a reassurance at once. As soon as Tucker walks away, she exhales. He is going to be trouble, she says under her breath. Newsflash. Cole says. He has always been trouble. More than usual, she says. If he decides you are connected to Cole's disappearance, he will not let it go. Then we distract him, Cole says. Give him something else to obsess about. Like what? He glances at her. Tucker is already at the far end of the hall, showing off by spinning the ball on one finger. We beat him, Cole says slowly. At his own game. The chance comes sooner than he expects. At lunch, the entire cafeteria hums with news. Did you hear about the winter charity game? Leah drops into the seat across from Ella and Cole, eyes bright behind her glasses. Student council approved it this morning. Teachers versus students, full halftime show, cheer squad, the whole deal. And Tucker is already telling everyone he is going to lead the team and make sure we win by 30. Cole groans. Of course he is. Leah grins. Oh, and hi, new person. I am Leah, the resident gossip archive and Ella's annoying friend. Best friend. Ella corrects. Annoying best friend. Leah says cheerfully. She turns her full attention to Cole. So, cousin Cora, I have questions. Cole glances helplessly at Ella. Ella sighs. Be gentle. No promises. Leah says, then leans forward. Question 1, do you like coffee or tea? Coffee, he says automatically. Leah gasps. Soulmate answer. Okay. Question 2, cats or dogs? Dogs, he says. Sorry about the allergy situation. She snaps her fingers. Knew you were too cool to be a cat person. Ella mutters. I am right here. Leah waves a hand. You are an exception. Question 3, what do you think about Tucker? Cole does not even have to think about it. Overrated. Leah stares at him for a heartbeat, then bursts out laughing. Oh, I like you, she says. You are going to fit right in. Ella relaxes a little beside him. Cole feels some of the tightness in his chest ease. Maybe he can do this. Maybe he can survive a week as Cora without the entire school figuring him out. Then Tucker slams his tray down on the table behind them. Mitchell, he says loudly. You are on student council. Put me as captain for the charity game. I am not letting some math nerd or theater kid run my court. Ella does not even turn around. It is not your court, Tucker. It belongs to the school. Without me, this school would not have 3 banners on that gym wall. He says. That is funny, she says. I seem to remember 5 other names on that team roster. The table around them snickers. Tucker's jaw flexes. Cole feels every muscle in his own body tense in sympathy, even though his arms look delicate and his sweater sleeves are soft. Fine, Tucker says. If you are going to be difficult, I will just win the captain position the old-fashioned way. He stands up on the bench like he is about to deliver a State of the Union speech. Hey, everyone, he yells. For the charity game, I challenge anyone to take the title from me. Half-court contest after school. Winner is captain. If you think you can beat me, step up. The cafeteria erupts in cheers. Leah groans into her hands. We live in a sitcom. Ella finally turns to look at him. You cannot just declare the rules yourself. Too late, he says. Everyone heard me. He hops down from the bench and leans on their table, looking at Ella with a smug grin. Unless you want to object. She sets her fork down. I object to your ego. Is that on the ballot? More laughter. Tucker's gaze slides to Cole. You play? He asks again. Cole's throat tightens. He wants to say yes. He wants to grab a ball and wipe that smug look off Tucker's face in front of the entire school. He has done it in practice 100 times. But Cora does not have that history. If he suddenly shows up with god-tier skills, the questions will come. I am not very good, he says reluctantly. Leah immediately pipes up. She could learn though. You should totally teach her, Tucker. Be a gentleman for once. Tucker smirks. Maybe I will start with Mitchell. She clearly needs help understanding the physics of a jump shot. Ella's eyes flash. The physics are simple: point mass, parabolic arc, release angle, initial velocity, and excessive arrogance. Arrogance wins games. He says. No, she says calmly. Skill does. And teamwork. Cole sees the opening before she even finishes the sentence. If the captain is supposed to represent teamwork, he says lightly, maybe the challenge should not be a solo half-court contest. Tucker turns to him slowly. What do you suggest, Oregon? A duo challenge. Cole says, heart kicking up. Captain's spot goes to the pair who work best together. One shooter, one passer. Best streak wins. He can feel Ella's eyes on him. Leah's too. The cafeteria quiets a little, students tuning in the way they do whenever a good argument starts. Tucker snorts. You think you know something about teamwork? Cole shrugs. Enough to know one guy making every decision is not usually it. Murmurs ripple through the nearby tables. Tucker's jaw ticks. Fine. He says. Duo challenge. But who is going to be your partner? Cole does not look away. He turns his head slowly, meets Ella's gaze, and lets the corner of his mouth tip up. If she is willing. He says. I pick Ella. The entire table goes silent. Ella blinks. Me. Yeah. He says. Unless you are too busy doing calculus to show a guy how physics actually works. Leah makes a strangled noise that might be excitement. I am going to explode. She whispers. Tucker laughs harshly. This I have to see. Fine. After school. Gym. Be there. He stalks off, clearly planning how he is going to humiliate them. Ella stares at Cole. What? He says defensively. You just volunteered me to play basketball. She says. You walked me out of a cursed museum during a blizzard and let me move into your house. He says. Teamwork goes both ways. She swallows. Then, slowly, a spark lights in her eyes. You think we can beat him? I know we can. He says. How? He grins. Because unlike him, we actually understand teamwork. The corner of her mouth lifts. Okay, Cora from Oregon. She says. Let us go rewrite the physics of this school. By the time the final bell rings, the gym is packed. Word travels fast at Westview. Rumor plus competition plus the chance to watch Tucker get knocked off his self-appointed throne is more irresistible than free pizza. Students crowd the bleachers, phones out, already recording. The cheer team leans against the opposite wall, whispering and giggling. A couple of teachers pretend they are there to supervise, and not to watch the drama. Cole bounces on the balls of his feet, the echo of the gym floor familiar under his sneakers. He has had more big moments on this court than he can count. This might be the weirdest one. He stretches, feeling the way his center of gravity has shifted. His arms are slightly shorter. His legs do not pack the same explosive power. But the instincts are still there, humming under his skin. Ella stands next to him in simple black leggings and a white t-shirt, ponytail high, expression serious. You sure about this? She asks. No. He says honestly. But I would rather go down swinging. She huffs. Terrible use of physics imagery. He grins. You love it. Tucker saunters onto the court with his partner, a tall guy from the soccer team who clearly spends more time in the gym than the library. The rules are simple. Tucker announces, loud enough for the room to hear. Each team gets 10 chances. Passer feeds the shooter. Most hits from beyond the arc wins. Tie breaks with half-court shots. Convenient. Ella murmurs. He picked a game designed for him. Good thing we are not playing by his expectations. Cole murmurs back. They flip a coin. Tucker's team goes first. Unsurprisingly, he sinks his first 3 shots. The crowd cheers. His partner feeds him the ball over and over, and while he misses a couple, he still ends with a solid score. Beat 13 if you can. He calls across the court, smug. Ella looks at Cole. Strategy. He smiles, a slow, sharp thing that feels a lot like the rush before a buzzer beater. You trust me? She hesitates for only a second. Yes. Then follow my lead. When it is their turn, Cole walks not to the 3-point line, but a step inside it. Murmurs ripple through the crowd. Cora. Someone calls. Line is back there. She knows. Ella says quietly. Cole glances at her, impressed by how quickly she clocks what he is doing without him saying it out loud. Change of game. He calls, projecting his voice. We are not just counting makes. We are counting combos. Every clean catch and shot without a dribble is 2 points. Mess up the connection, and it is 0. Tucker scoffs. You cannot change the rules. You changed them once already. Ella points out coolly. It is only fair everyone gets a say. The crowd murmurs again, some nodding, some shrugging. Students like chaos more than they like consistency. A teacher at the edge lifts a hand. As long as both teams agree, I do not see a problem, she says. Tucker glares, but he cannot back down now without looking scared. Fine, he snaps. Whatever. Cole meets Ella's eyes. Ready? She nods. He can see the calculations running behind her gaze. Distances, angles, timing. He takes a breath, lets the gym noise fade until it is just them and the ball. Ella bounces it once, twice, then snaps a pass toward him. He moves. The ball hits his hands, smooth and light. No dribble, no adjustment. Muscle memory takes over. He plants his feet, shoulders squared, and lets it fly. Swish. The crowd oos. 2. Ella calls. They fall into a rhythm. Catch, shoot, swish. Her passes are precise, always where his hands will be, not where they are. His shots come out quick, clean, the way he has practiced alone in this gym 1,000 nights after everyone else went home. The noise of the crowd fades into a dull roar. It is just them, a line of sight, a loop of trust. On his 7th shot, the ball bounces off the rim. He curses under his breath. Ella is already moving though, snatching the rebound and sending it back to him in one smooth motion. Again, she says. He grins. They keep going until his arms burn and his lungs ache and the scoreboard might as well be on another planet. When they finally stop, someone yells the total. 24. The gym explodes. Tucker looks like he swallowed a lemon. Cole tries not to laugh in his face. Ella breathes hard beside him, cheeks flushed, eyes bright. You okay? He looks at her, at the way she is beaming despite her usual controlled expression, at the way she reaches out without thinking to squeeze his shoulder, fingers warm through the fabric of his sweater. I am great, he says. She smiles back. Told you teamwork beats arrogance. The teacher steps forward, raising her voice over the cheering. Looks like we have our captains, she says. Cora and Ella will co-captain the student team for the charity game. Cole blinks. He had not planned on that. He had just wanted to wipe the smug off Tucker's face. Now the entire gym erupts into chants. Cora, Ella, Cora, Ella. Leah practically tackles them both with a hug, laughing so hard she can barely breathe. This is the best day of my life, she squeals. My ship is real, and it is captain of the school. I am going to need a minute. Cole laughs, dizzy with adrenaline. Ella laughs too, a sound he has heard maybe 3 times before, unguarded and delighted. For a moment, standing in the center of the gym with the crowd cheering, and Ella's hand still on his arm, he forgets that nothing about this is normal. He forgets that his own reflection would still startle him. He forgets that somewhere in a dusty museum, a cursed badge is waiting, full of someone else's story. Right now, the only story that matters is this one. The girl he has become. The girl standing next to him. And the way, for the first time, they are not on opposite sides of anything. By the time the charity game gets approved officially, the rumor that Cora and Ella dethroned Tucker has taken on a life of its own. Apparently, half the school now believes they are some kind of secret duo, unstoppable on the court and terrifying in the classroom. Memes appear on the student forum. Someone edits a photo of them in the gym with words like power couple floating over their heads. Leah sends every single one to their group chat with way too many heart emojis. Cole tries not to look at them too closely. It is hard enough pretending nothing has changed when everything has. He spends the next few days juggling 2 exhausting realities. By day, he is Cora. He sits through classes with Ella, takes notes in neat handwriting that does not belong to him, learns how to cross his legs without thinking about it. He fields questions about Oregon, laughs at the right jokes, and pretends he has never set foot in the boys' locker room. By night, he and Ella pore over yearbooks and dusty records, digging into the history of Westview's mysterious badge. The story that emerges is stranger and sadder than either of them expects. It is called The Founder's Rose. Ella says one evening, tapping a faded photograph. They are at her dining table, laptop and old books spread out between abandoned plates of takeout. A single lamp pulls light over the mess. Outside, the world is quiet under a blanket of snow. Cole squints at the sepia image. A girl in a stiff blazer and long skirt stares back at them. Her hair is pinned back neatly, her expression solemn. On her lapel, a small silver badge gleams. Her name was Rosalie West. Ella says. Daughter of the man who founded the school. She wanted to join the boys' basketball team, but it was the 1950s. Girls' teams were not taken seriously, if they existed at all. Shocking. Cole mutters. Ella slides an old student newspaper across the table. She made her own welcome. The printed story is dramatic even by modern standards. Rosalie started a secret training group for girls who wanted to play. They met in empty gyms and backyards, borrowing equipment and learning from whoever would teach them. The badge was a symbol of their pact. Whoever wore it had to fight for the right to stand on the court, no matter what. It was supposed to be about courage. Ella says softly. About refusing to be invisible. So how did it become a curse? Cole asks. Ella flips to another yellowed page. Because not everyone liked what Rosalie was doing. Her father tried to shut the group down. The boys' team complained that the girls were taking gym time. Teachers warned them to focus on their studies, not on games. And then there was the boy. Eli Harper. Ella reads. Captain of the boys' team. Top scorer. Everyone's favorite golden boy. Cole pulls a face. There is always one. Apparently, he and Rosalie were close. She says. He snuck the girls extra practice time, helped them run drills, taught them plays when no one was looking. And then, Cole guesses. Something went very wrong. Ella nods. One night, before a big game, Rosalie and Eli made a deal. If the girls could beat the boys in a scrimmage, the school would have to allow a girls' team. If the boys won, Rosalie would stop pushing and stick to the sidelines. They met in the old gym under a full moon, badge pinned between them as a promise. No one knows exactly what happened. The records say only that there was an accident. That the badge cracked under stress. That Rosalie and Eli both collapsed. When they woke up, nothing was the same. Some students claimed they changed. Ella says quietly. That they started acting like different people. Rosalie became reckless and loud. Eli withdrew, quieter than before. Friends swore they did not recognize them anymore. Cole shifts in his chair. An uneasy chill slides down his spine. So you think they switched bodies? He says. Or something like that. I think they traded pieces of themselves. She says. The badge responds to intent, to desperation. Rosalie wanted to be seen as more than a quiet daughter. Eli wanted to escape the pressure of perfection. The badge twisted that wish into something literal. He stares at her. And now it has me. Silence settles between them. The badge lies on the table between the old papers. Harmless and cold now, its surface smooth. It looks like an ordinary antique. It feels like a loaded trap. Ella closes the book and looks up at him. I found one more thing, she says. In a handwritten note in the records. She pushes a folded page toward him. The ink is faded, the handwriting looping and careful. Cole leans in. Those who tread the path we walked. Ella reads. Must speak their truth under the same moon that saw us break. Only when heart meets heart without fear will the badge release its claim, and return you to the self you chose to hide. He frowns. That is some top-tier creepy poetry. It is a clue, she says. Rosalie and Eli left instructions. Truth under the full moon. Heart to heart. No fear. Which means what, exactly? He asks. We stand in front of the badge and confess our biggest secrets while the moon watches? We do a feelings monologue? Her lips twitch. Possibly. He groans. I hate magic. Why could it not just say, press reset, and do not be an idiot? She actually laughs. Then her gaze softens. The next full moon is Friday, she says. If this note is right, that is our best shot at changing you back. His heart stutters. Friday. That is 4 days away. For days of pretending he belongs in someone else's skin. For days of learning how to be Cora, while trying to remember who Cole is underneath. What if it does not work? He asks quietly. Ella hesitates, then reaches across the table and rests her hand on his. He stares at their joined hands, at the way his smaller fingers disappear under hers. Then we figure out something else, she says softly. Together. His throat tightens. Stop being nice. He mutters. It is confusing. She squeezes his hand once before letting go. You will survive the confusion. He is less sure, but he nods anyway. They do not tell Leah about the badge. Not yet. They do tell her about the charity game. By Thursday, the gym is buzzing with preparation. Posters go up. The cheer squad practices new routines. Teachers argue about who gets to play and who has to supervise instead. Tucker trains like a man possessed. He struts around practice acting like the undisputed king of the court, barking orders at people who are not on his official team, but might be if they impress him enough. Every time he makes a shot, he glances at Cora and Ella like he is daring them to challenge him again. His ego needs its own bleachers. Leah mutters from the sidelines. Cole cannot disagree. What he does not notice, at least not at first, is the way Tucker's gaze has changed when it lands on him. Not just annoyed, suspicious. He only realizes how bad it has gotten on Thursday afternoon, when he ducks into the locker room to grab a water bottle he left behind. The door swings shut behind him with a heavy thud. The room is empty, or it should be. He heads toward the row of lockers where the team keeps their gear. His old locker is still there, number 32, a dent on the door where Tucker slammed it once, in a fit of temper after a loss. Old reflex has him reaching for it before he remembers whose body he is in. He stops short. Lost, Cora. The voice comes from behind him. Cole whirls around. Tucker steps out from behind the row of lockers, bouncing a ball lazily with one hand. His Letterman jacket hangs open, his expression sharper than usual. Without the audience of the court, the usual lazy smirk is gone. Cole's heart jumps. I was just. He starts, forcing a casual tone. I left something in here after the last practice. Thought I would grab it. Tucker's eyes flick to the locker number behind him. You sure about that? He says. Because that is Jensen's locker. Cole's stomach drops. I got mixed up. He says quickly. All the numbers look the same. Do they? The ball bounces between them. Thump, thump, thump. Each hit echoes too loud in the empty room. Tucker takes a step closer. You know what is weird? He says conversationally. Jensen disappears the same night you show up. He does not call. He does not text. He does not answer the group chat. It is like he fell off the planet. Cole forces a laugh. People go on trips, Tucker. Sure, Tucker says. But Jensen would not bail on his team right before a charity game. He hates letting people down. Everyone knows that. Cole clenches his hands at his sides to keep them from shaking. Tucker rolls the ball along his arm, then catches it again, eyes never leaving Cole's face. And then there is the jersey. He says. You show up in his hoodie. You walk like him. You talk like you know things about our plays, about our fights. Like you were there. Cole's pulse slams against his ribs. I told you. He says. We are related. Tucker's smile is quick and mean. You know what I think? No. Cole says, but his voice is thin. I think you know where he is. Tucker says. I think you are lying. And I think whatever you are hiding, it is going to blow up in everybody's faces if I do not figure it out. Cole takes a step back. Tucker steps forward. The ball in his hand is suddenly not a toy, but a weapon he could throw, drop, slam into someone. What are you going to do? Cole asks quietly. Interrogate me until I confess to a what, exactly? Tucker's jaw flexes. I am going to make sure you do not ruin this team the way he did. He says. If you are hiding something that could bring him back, I will drag it out of you. He moves faster than Cole expects. His hand shoots out, grabbing Cole's wrist. Pain sparks where fingers dig into delicate bones. Cole gasps, trying to pull free. Let go. He says. You are going to talk. Tucker snarls. Let go. The shout echoes off tile and metal. Tucker does not listen. Old instincts roar to life in Cole's chest. He is smaller now, lighter, but he is still an athlete. His body remembers what to do when someone corners him on a court. He twists his wrist the way coach taught them, turning with the pressure instead of fighting it. Tucker's grip slips just enough for him to yank free. He stumbles back, breath heaving. Tucker's eyes flash. He lunges again. Before he can reach Cole, the locker room door slams open. What is going on in here? Ella stands in the doorway, Leah right behind her. Ella's expression is thunder. Leah has her phone out, already recording. Tucker freezes. Ella takes in the scene in a heartbeat. Cole's flushed face. Tucker's tense stance. The way the ball is pinned between his fingers like it might be thrown. I heard yelling from the hall. She says, voice like ice. Do I need to call coach, or do you want to explain why you are cornering my cousin in an empty locker room? It is not what it looks like. Tucker says immediately. It looks like you grabbed her. Leah says, phone steady. My camera is very honest. Color rises in Tucker's face. I was just talking to her. He insists. She got jumpy. That is all. Ella's jaw tightens. Step away. She says calmly. Now. For a second, Tucker does not move. Then he drops the ball and steps back, hands lifting in surrender. You are all overreacting. He mutters. Great. Ella says. You can explain that to coach. She reaches for Cole's hand without thinking. Her fingers wrap around his, warm and solid. The contact steadies him more than he wants to admit. We are done here. She says, tugging him toward the door. Tucker's voice follows them out. This is not over, Cora. I know you are hiding something. Leah sticks her head back in just long enough to sing song. Enjoy your meeting with the administration. Before slamming the door, they go straight to Coach's office. By the end of the day, Tucker is suspended from the team and barred from the locker rooms for the rest of the semester. Rumors explode, of course. By the time the final bell rings, half the school believes Tucker tried to fight Cora, the other half that he tried to corner her for something much worse. Either way, his reputation takes a hit. For once, Cole does not feel guilty about it. That night, he sits on Ella's couch with a blanket around his shoulders and a mug of hot chocolate in his hands while Leah paces the living room like an overcaffeinated detective. I cannot believe you went in there alone, Leah says. Locker rooms are where horror movies start, not where they end. I forgot, he says weakly. I thought it would be quick. You are still learning the map, Ella says. It was an honest mistake. An honest mistake with a very punchable face attached. Leah adds darkly. Cole manages a small smile. Leah stops pacing and points a warning finger at him. If anyone else tries to mess with you, you tell me. I have a list. And a very long memory. Should I be worried? He asks. Only if you are mean to Ella, she says. Then it is open season. Ella throws a pillow at her. Stop threatening my cousin. Leah catches it easily and flops onto the armchair. Your cousin who just demolished Tucker on the court, and then triggered his villain origin scene. I am pretty sure he is going to start a conspiracy board about her on his wall. A chill runs down Cole's spine. He already thinks I know where Jensen is. He says carefully. What if he starts connecting dots? Ella shakes her head. He has rumors and a bruised ego, not evidence. The only people who know the truth are in this room. Leah raises a hand halfway. Ella looks at her. Not you. She clarifies. You know the almost truth. Leah slumps. Rude. You know enough to help, Ella says. Not enough to get dragged into magical disaster if this backfires. Leah blinks. Did you just say magical? Ella freezes. Cole chokes on his hot chocolate. Leah's eyes go huge. Okay, and now I really do need the full story, because my best friend does not throw the word magical around unless she is talking about physics or fantasy novels, and we are in neither of those situations. Ella pinches the bridge of her nose. Leah. Tell her. Cole says quietly. Ella looks at him. She already knows something is off. He says. If this goes wrong, you should not be the only one carrying it. Leah looks between them, bouncing in her seat. I swear I can keep a secret. I have like 18 already. Most of them are about people kissing when they should not. This is about something bigger than kissing. Ella mutters. Leah leans forward. Bigger how? Ella sighs. Then, slowly, she tells the story. About the dare. About the badge. About the transformation. About Rosalie and Eli. And the note about the full moon. Leah listens with an intensity Cole has only ever seen when she is watching the finale of a favorite show. Her eyes get wider with every sentence. When Ella finishes, the room falls quiet. Leah sits back hard. Okay, she says finally. So your worst academic rival touched a haunted badge, turned into a girl, and moved into your house. Ella winces. That makes it sound very unhelpful. It makes it sound like my favorite trope exploded into real life. Leah says reverently. Body swap adjacent, forced proximity, enemies to something else, secret identity, all rolled into one. I am going to pass out. Please do not. Cole says. Leah points at him. And you. You did not tell me you were Jensen. I yelled about how hot he was in front of you last week. He flushes. I was trying not to get anyone involved. That was very noble and very stupid. She says. But we can work with it. She leans forward again, eyes blazing. So what is the plan on Friday? Are we doing a ritual? Do we need candles? Latin chanting? Matching outfits? No rituals. Ella says firmly. No Latin. No summoning anything. Just us, the badge, and the truth. Under the full moon. Leah adds dramatically. Under the full moon. Ella agrees. Friday comes with a sky as clear as glass. The snow on the ground glows under the streetlights. The air is sharp and cold and full of the kind of stillness that makes everything feel important. Cole's nerves buzz all day. He goes to class. He answers questions. He laughs at Leah's jokes. He pretends he is not counting the hours until night. Every time he looks at Ella, his chest twists. The note said truth without fear. He is not entirely sure what that truth is yet. He has a hunch. He is not ready to say it out loud. By the time the last class ends, his hands are shaking. Ella notices. She nudges his shoulder lightly as they walk out of school. We do not have to do this tonight, she says. We could wait. Study more. Prepare better. Prepare how? He asks. Watch more ghost documentaries. She smiles a little. He looks up at the sky. The moon is already faintly visible, a pale coin behind thin clouds. Rosalie left instructions. He says. If this is our shot, I do not want to miss it. Ella nods. Leah meets them at the gate, backpack stuffed and eyes bright. I brought snacks, she says. And a flashlight. And a playlist in case we need emotionally appropriate background music. Please tell me it is not all sad piano. Cole says. There is some dramatic indie, she says. And a heroic violin track. Of course there is. He mutters. They wait until full dark. Then they go back to the museum. The school feels different at night. Emptier, older. The hallways echo with every step, lockers looming like silent sentries. The storm that shook the windows the night of his transformation is gone. Tonight, the air is clear and still. The badge waits where they left it, in the cracked glass case. Ella unlocks the museum door with the spare key, her hand steady even if her breathing is not. Leah flips on the emergency lights. The room fills with a dim, bluish glow. Cole steps in last. He can feel his heart trying to climb out of his chest. The badge gleams on its velvet cushion, small and innocent and full of everything that has gone wrong in the last week. Okay, Leah says softly. We are officially in season finale territory. Not helping. Ella murmurs. Leah zips her mouth, miming a lock and throwing away the key. Ella turns to Cole. You ready? Absolutely not. He says. Let us do it anyway. They stand around the display. Moonlight spills through the high windows, washing over the room in silver. Ella picks up the badge carefully, cradling it in her palm. For a second, nothing happens. Then the metal warms, a faint hum running through the air like distant static. Rosalie, Eli. Ella says quietly, reading from the note once more. If you can hear us, we are sorry your story never got told right. We are not here to steal your courage. We are just trying to find our way back to ours. The badge pulses softly. Cole swallows hard. Cole, Ella says, looking up at him. This is your truth. It has to be your words. He nods. His throat feels tight. He takes a step closer to the badge, to her, to the thin line between who he was and who he might be. My name is Cole Jensen, he says, voice shaking. I am the one who touched this stupid thing. I did it because I was trying to prove I was still good enough. I did not think about anyone else. I did not think about consequences. I just wanted to feel like the hero again. The badge warms in Ella's hand. He breathes in. When I woke up like this, he says, gesturing at his body. I thought the world had ended. I thought everything that made me was gone. The way I move. The way people look at me. The way I look at myself. He glances at Ella. She is watching him with that sharp, gentle focus that always makes him feel seen, and judged and understood all at once. But that is not the whole truth. He says. Because the longer I stay like this, the more I realize I have been hiding behind who I thought I was supposed to be. The loud jock. The guy who does not care. The one who never tries too hard because trying means you can fail. The words spill faster now, like the dam finally cracked. I have been jealous of Ella since freshman year. He blurts. Not just because she is smart, but because she is brave enough to be obvious about it. She raises her hand even when she could be wrong. She talks to teachers. She does not pretend to be smaller to make anyone else feel better. Ella's eyes widen. Leah presses a hand over her mouth. And I have been in love with her almost as long. He says. The air leaves the room. He hears Leah squeak. He hears his own heartbeat hammering loud enough to drown out everything else. I did not want to admit it. He says hoarsely. Because it meant caring in a way I could not joke about. Because if she knew, and did not feel the same, I would have to keep seeing that in her eyes every day in chem, and in the hallway, and everywhere. So I picked fights instead. I rolled my eyes. I acted like everything she did annoyed me when really it was the opposite. He looks at her, really looks. At the girl who dragged him out of a haunted museum, who taught him how to braid his hair, who stood in a locker room doorway, and told a boy twice her size to back off without flinching. The truth is, badge or no badge, he says, voice barely more than a whisper. I am still me. I am still Cole. I still love basketball. I still talk too loud. I still care about my team. And I still, very stupidly and very completely, love Ella Mitchell. Silence crashes over them. The badge glows brighter, light seeping through Ella's fingers. Her mouth parts. Cole. She starts. Wait. He says quickly. If you do not feel the same, that is okay. You do not owe me anything. I just needed the truth out there. The note said heart to heart, no fear, so I am trying really hard to keep the fear part from winning right now. Leah makes a strangled noise that might be. Say something. From behind her hand, Ella takes a shaky breath. She steps closer. Do you know how annoying it is? She says, voice trembling. To like someone who argues with you in every class and acts like nothing matters, but then turns around and quietly helps freshmen find their way to the right bus stop. He blinks. What? Do you know how frustrating it is? She goes on. To watch you pretend you do not care about grades when I have seen you stay late to ask coach for extra drills or redo an assignment you bombed because you did everything at the last minute. I did not redo that assignment. He protests weakly. You did, she says. You just did it at home where no one could see you try. He stares at her. Her eyes are shinier than he has ever seen them. I thought you were ridiculous, she says. Infuriating, loud, and so brave in all the ways I am not. You walked into rooms like you belonged there. You never apologized for being visible. I hated you a little for that, and I loved you a lot for it. His breath catches. You a what? She swallows hard. The truth is, Cole, she says. I have been in love with you for years. I just did not know what to do with it when you were busy calling me a robot and acting like I was your sworn academic enemy. I never said sworn, he says weakly. Close enough, she says. The badge in her hand pulses like a heartbeat. The night I found you in the museum, she says. I thought my brain had finally snapped from too much extra credit, but you looked terrified, and I recognized that look from my own mirror, the look of someone who has no idea who they are supposed to be anymore. She takes another step closer. They are so near now that he can see the tiny flecks of gold in her brown eyes, the way her lashes tremble when she blinks. The truth is I love you, she says simply. In any body, in any jersey, whether you are Cole or Cora or both. The badge flares like someone turned a light on inside it. Heat surges up Cole's arm even though he is not touching it yet. The air in the room thickens, buzzing with something that feels like electricity, and relief, and years of unsaid words finally finding a place to land. Leah whispers, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Like a prayer, Ella looks down at the badge in her palm, then back at him. I think the note meant this, she says quietly. Truth without fear, heart to heart. We just did that part. So what now? He asks, barely breathing. Now, she says, cheeks flushing. I think we have to seal it. He blinks. Seal it how? Leah makes a tiny exploding gesture with her fingers. You know how. Realization dawns slow and hot. Oh, he says. His brain, usually full of noise, goes silent. Ella takes one more tiny step forward, closing the last of the space between them. If you do not want this, she says softly, tell me to stop. He searches her face, looking for any sign of hesitation. There is none. I do not want you to stop, he says, voice raw. Ever. She smiles. It is small and brilliant and full of something fragile and fierce. Then she rises onto her toes and kisses him. The badge explodes in light. For a second, there is no museum, no floor, no ceiling. Just a blinding white that feels like standing inside a star. Cole feels himself pulled apart and snapped back together all at once. Every nerve burns, then cools, then settles like it has finally been put back where it always belonged. He squeezes his eyes shut, clinging to the feel of Ella's mouth on his. When the light fades, he stumbles. Strong hands catch his shoulders. Not delicate, not slender. His hands. He opens his eyes. The world looks different. Not because the room has changed, but because his height has. He is taller again. The angle of the ceiling familiar. His center of gravity has shifted back. His arms feel longer, his shoulders broader. He looks down. His hoodie hangs correctly now, not swallowing his frame. His legs fill his jeans the way they always did. His chest is flat. His hands are big and rough and bitten around the nails. He is Cole. Really, fully, undeniably. He laughs, the sound wild and disbelieving and hoarse. I am back, he says. I am actually back. Ella is staring at him like she is seeing a ghost and a miracle at the same time. You are taller, she says faintly. You are shorter, he says dazed. Leah makes a helpless noise from somewhere behind them. I am fine, she says unconvincingly. Just experiencing every trope at once. Do not worry about me. Cole looks down at the shattered pieces of the badge in Ella's hand. The metal is cracked now, dull and lifeless. Whatever power it held is gone. Guess it only had one big fix in it, he says softly. Ella nods, eyes not leaving his face. There is a beat of silence. Then Leah claps her hands once, loud and sharp. Okay, she says. Not to ruin the magical mood, but I need you both to answer one very important question. They look at her. Are you officially together now? She demands. Because I have spent 3 years yelling at the universe to make my favorite academic rivalry ship canon, and I need confirmation before I start rewriting my fanfic in my head. Cole chokes. You wrote what? Focus, she says. Yes or no? Ella's cheeks flush. She glances at him, eyes suddenly shy. He feels his own face heat. He thinks about all the almost moments. The fights in class. The truce in her living room. The way she held his hand in the locker room. The way she kissed him like she meant every word she said. He reaches for her hand. Her fingers slide into his, fitting like they were always meant to. Yes, he says. Ella nods. Yes. Leah throws both fists in the air. I win, she declares. I knew it. I knew it and no one believed me. We believed you, Ella says dryly. Cole grins. His heart feels lighter than it has in years. On Monday morning, Westview High feels like a different planet. For one thing, Cole Jensen walks through the front doors again. For another, he is holding Ella Mitchell's hand. The hallway noise drops a full volume level when they appear side by side. Conversations trail off. Lockers stop slamming mid-swing. It is like someone hit pause on the school and forgot to tell them. Cole can feel 100 eyes on them. He squeezes Ella's hand. You sure about this? He murmurs. She squeezes back. You wanted truth without fear, she says. Consider this extra credit. He snorts. You would turn emotional growth into homework. You are welcome, she says. Leah flanks them on Ella's other side, radiating smugness. Smile, you two, she whispers. This is historic. Please do not narrate this like a documentary, Ella mutters. It is for the archives, Leah says. Tucker is leaning against a locker halfway down the hall when he spots them. For a second, he just stares, like his brain is refusing to accept the visual input. Then his face goes pale, then red. Jensen. He spits. Cole stops a few feet away. He does not let go of Ella's hand. Hey, Cole says casually. Miss me? Tucker looks between him and Ella like he is trying to calculate something that keeps changing variables. You have been gone for a week, Tucker says. No call, no explanation, and now you show up with her like everything is fine. It is not fine, Cole says calmly. You grabbed my cousin in the locker room. Murmurs ripple through the crowd. Tucker flinches. I did not touch you. No, Cole says. You touched Cora, who happens to be very real, by the way. She just is not here today. Ella's voice is cool and precise when she cuts in. The administration took your behavior seriously, Tucker. You are suspended from the team until further notice. If you have a problem with that, you can take it up with them, not with us. Tucker's jaw works. This is because of you, he says to Cole. You wanted me out. You made me look like the bad guy. Cole holds his gaze steadily. I did not make you do anything, he says. You grabbed a girl in a locker room. You cornered her. You ignored her when she told you to stop. That is on you. The hallway is silent now. Even the chatter in nearby classrooms seems to fade. Tucker looks around, as if searching for backup. He finds none. The guys who used to trail him like satellites suddenly have very interesting locker contents to examine. Leah folds her arms, expression unimpressed. In case you are wondering, she says. This school has a long memory, and a lot of phones. Tucker curses under his breath. He shoves past them, shoulder clipping Cole's as he goes. This is not over, he mutters. Cole does not turn. Maybe not for you, he says. For me it is. He feels Ella's gaze on his profile, warm and steady. When he finally looks down at her, she smiles. It is small and fierce, like she is proud of him. He has faced down a full gym screaming for blood. He has walked into games with everything on the line. None of it felt as terrifying as this hallway. But now, with her hand in his, it does not feel like a battlefield. It feels like home turf. Word travels fast, of course. By lunch, there are 3 running theories about where Cole was, 2 conspiracy threads about Cora's true identity, and an entire channel on the student forum dedicated to Mitchell x Jensen confirmed. Leah has bookmarked all of them for later. That afternoon, Coach calls Cole into his office. So, Coach says, leaning back in his chair, back from your mysterious family trip. Something like that, Cole says. Coach studies him for a long moment. You look different, he says finally. Cole's heart skips. He fights the urge to check his reflection, even though he knows that what Coach means is not his face, but the way he is holding himself. Did I shrink? Cole jokes weakly. Coach does not smile. You look like you grew up, he says. The words land somewhere deep. Look, Cole says slowly. I am sorry I left without a lot of explanation. I was dealing with something and I handled it badly. I know I let the team down. Coach's eyebrow lifts. I am not going to ask what you were dealing with, he says. Teenagers have complicated lives. But I care about this team, about you, and about the kind of guys we let wear this jersey. He taps the Westview logo on the folded uniform on his desk. Cole straightens. If you want back in, Coach says. I need you focused. I need you to have your head on straight. And I need you to understand that being captain is not just about points on a scoreboard. I know that, Cole says quietly. Do you? Coach asks. Because last month, I was not sure. You and Tucker were so busy trying to outshine each other that you forgot the rest of the team existed. Cole winces. He cannot argue. I am not the same, he says. I cannot explain everything, but there is more to life than being the guy who scores the winning shot. I get that now. Coach watches him. Something like approval flickers in his eyes. Good, he says. Because after what happened in the locker room, Tucker will not be leading this team into a charity game. The school wants to send a different message. Cole's pulse jumps. You want me back as captain? He asks carefully. Coach shakes his head. I want co-captains, he says. Cole blinks. Co-what? Captain is not a one-person job, Coach says. We need strategy and heart. Someone who sees the court and someone who sees the big picture. You are good at reading plays. Mitchell is good at reading people and numbers. Together, you might actually pull this off. Cole stares at him. You want Ella, he says slowly. On the bench with a clipboard. I want Ella on the bench with a clipboard and the authority to tell you when you are being an idiot, Coach says. Something she is clearly already good at. Cole cannot argue that either. He feels a grin tug at his mouth. So we are co-captains. If she agrees, Coach says. I already asked her. She said she would consider it if you did. Cole laughs. Of course she did. I am in, he says. Coach nods. Then tell her so. And Jensen. Yeah? Whatever you are dealing with, Coach says. You do not have to carry it alone. That is not how teams work. Cole swallows past the sudden tightness in his throat. Got it, he says. Thanks, Coach. The charity game is a ridiculous success. Teachers show up in goofy matching shirts, pretending they are not competitive, while very obviously being extremely competitive. The cheer squad debuts a routine that includes a half-joking tribute to Rosalie West, complete with a giant paper flower banner. Ella sits on the bench in a neat blazer, clipboard balanced on her knees, head held high. Cole takes the court in his jersey. Every time he glances at the bench, her eyes are on him. Not in a heavy, expectant way. In a steady, I have your back way. It changes everything. He still scores, still drives the lane, still steals passes like he is trying to prove something. But now, every time he has a chance, he kicks the ball out to a teammate. He calls plays that give other guys the chance to shine. He listens when Ella whistles and waves a new formation from the sideline. They win, obviously. Not because he single-handedly destroys the teachers. Because everyone plays like they are part of something bigger than their own stat line. Afterward, sweat-drenched and buzzing with adrenaline, he finds Ella under the bleachers where the noise is a little less deafening. She looks up from her clipboard, face lighting when she sees him. Nice assist to Mason in the third, she says. And the steal in the last minute. Very dramatic. I like to keep things interesting, he says. You succeeded, she says. They stand there, grinning at each other like idiots, while the rest of the gym swirls around them. He reaches out, hooking a finger under the edge of her clipboard and lowering it just enough that she has to look up at him fully. So, he says. Co-captain. So, she echoes. Think we make a good team? He asks. She pretends to consider. You still talk too loud, she says. And you get weirdly dramatic under pressure. You correct my math homework for fun, he counters. And you color code your class notes. That is basic organization. She protests. That is terrifying, he says. She laughs. He sobers, still smiling. Ella, he says quietly. Thank you. For what? She asks. For everything, he says. For not running when you found me in the museum. For letting me crash your house. For teaching me how to exist without breaking anything. For all of it. She rolls her eyes, but they are shiny again. You are welcome, she says. And for the record, you were not the only one scared of the truth. He tilts his head. No. I have spent most of my life being the girl who does not get distracted, she says. Grades first, everything else later. Liking you felt like a mistake I was not allowed to make. Pretty sure I qualify as a distraction, he says. The worst kind. She agrees. The kind that makes life better. Warmth floods his chest. He drops the clipboard the rest of the way. It hits the floor with a soft smack. He cups her face in his hands and kisses her. This time, there is no blinding light, no shifting of bones and identity. Just the simple, complicated miracle of being exactly who he is, kissing exactly who he wants, in a gym that finally feels like the right size. Someone wolf whistles from the stands. Leah yells. Finally. At a volume that would make a megaphone jealous. They break apart, laughing. Ella smooths his jersey where she accidentally grabbed it. We are going to be a rumor by last period, she says. We have been a rumor for years, he says. Now we finally get to be the headline. She groans. That was terrible. You love it, he says. She gives him a look. He grins, then grabs her hand. Come on, co-captain, he says. There is a victory pizza with our names on it, and I want to see Leah try to pretend she is not crying over her ship being cannon. She is absolutely crying, Ella says. She absolutely is. He agrees. That night, back at Ella's house, the three of them collapse on the couch, buried under blankets and pizza boxes and the leftover chaos of a long week. Leah scrolls through her phone, cackling at every new meme. Look at this, she says, shoving the screen in their faces. Someone drew fan art of Cora and Ella back to back with a basketball between them. I love this timeline. We are never escaping this, Ella says. We do not have to, Cole says. He leans his head back, eyes drifting shut. He can still feel the ghost of the badge's heat in his veins, but it is different now. Less like a curse, more like a reminder. Of Rosalie and Eli, and the promises they made under a different moon. Of all the kids who felt trapped in the versions of themselves the world handed them. Of the choice he made when he decided to stop hiding behind jokes and jump shots. Hey, Leah says suddenly. If the badge is gone, does that mean no more magical chaos? I would not bet on that. Ella says wryly. This is Westview. We are chaos even without cursed objects. Leah grins. Good. I would hate to be bored. Cole smiles, eyes still closed. What? Ella asks, nudging his knee. Just thinking. He says. Dangerous. She says automatically. He squeezes her hand under the blanket. I thought my life ended the night I woke up in that museum. He says softly. Turns out it was just a changing shape. Ella is quiet for a moment. That is what growth feels like, she says. He cracks one eye open to look at her. Is this where you give me a speech about identity and resilience and embracing change? He asks. She smiles. No, she says. This is where I tell you that however you show up, I am not going anywhere. His chest tightens in the best way. Same, he says. Even if you start color coding our entire lives. Already did. Leah mutters from the other end of the couch. You are blue, she is green, I am chaotic pink. Ella throws a pillow at her. Leah yelps, then laughs, then pulls the pillow into her lap. Outside, the moon hangs high and bright over Los Angeles, casting the city in soft silver. Inside, in a small house filled with books, and leftover lasagna, and the faint scent of coffee, a boy who spent too long pretending he did not care finally lets himself be exactly who he is. Messy, loud, in love with the girl who once drove him crazy in class, and who now shares his victories, his secrets, and his couch. Westview High will remember the charity game. They will remember the drama, the rumors, the sudden disappearance and comeback of their star player. But for Cole and Ella, the real story is quieter. A haunted badge, a snowstorm, a deal they never meant to make. And the way, in the middle of all that chaos, they found the courage to tell the truth and step into a future that was always waiting for them. Together.
Thanks for watching. Follow for more romance stories.